All right, everybody, Doc D here, Health Jawn people out there in the Jawn universe. I want to talk to you a little bit tonight about wrist savers. Ways you can save your wrists from the all too often overdiagnosed idea of carpal tunnel syndrome. A lot of times we confuse the idea of simple wrist pain with carpal tunnel syndrome. So I want to go over with you quickly the difference and 5 general hygiene things for wrist hygiene for maintaining your wrists so they last as long as you do and you have healthier wrists. The problem is, as we know, modern society messes us up by sticking us in front of computers all day and driving all day and writing at our desks and doing all these mousing and these activities, diddling with our new smartphones and all this stuff that we do constantly. And we overdevelop and overutilize the wrist flexors, these parts of the forearm, and we underutilize the wrist extensors. So what happens is, in the case of carpal tunnel, sometimes you'll get a collapse of this tunnel in here and you'll start to get things like numbness, pain, and weakness. But a lot of people just have the pain, and so we need to address to them that A, it's not carpal tunnel syndrome, and B, there's some things you can actually do about it instead of whining about your wrist being in pain all the time. So let's learn about those things. I picked 5 things tonight. Why 5? Because it's an arbitrary number and I have 5 fingers, so we're doing 5 things, okay? It's that easy. So here's what we're going to do. Our first thing we're going to explain is, before we even go into our 5 wrist savers, is often when people will come into me as a chiropractor, things I see every day with the arm and wrist, we always check the neck first. The neck up here is the conduit. So when we're doing this all day, driving and flexing in front of our computer, we also have this junky old posture. So we have tons of pressure on our neck, and that's the first place we have to open up to make our body healthier and our wrists healthier. So we have to check there and make sure it's not a neck thing before we look at our wrist. Always the spine first, and we work our way out. So here's our wrist. So let's talk about 5 things, 5 ways we can save our wrists. So the first thing, first and foremost, if we're flexed all day, wouldn't it be obvious that a great stretch would be to extend our wrist and our forearm with a straight elbow in here and bring the wrist back? And I feel a tremendous stretch in here because I too am working like this all day with people. So this is a great stretch, and you'd hold this for, pick a number in your head, 30 seconds, a minute, and hold like this. You can root around, turn your hand a little bit. And this is our first wrist stretcher, and I can feel right now that my right side's a little tighter than my left, so this is something I should be doing. Number 2, now I have people who come in with, they're going to play tennis or they're going to lift weights, they're going to do activities. Figure 8's right here, just to heat up the joints. You have 8 movable bones just in this little compartment right here. Most of them are movable in the right scenario, so we can do this to warm up our wrists, okay? Just heat up the joints before you go do activity. I have people with chronic problems and it's messing up their tennis game. They start to do these things and all of a sudden their tennis game improves. The third thing we call wrist dislocate. That's my name for this motion. We anchor down the hand, we put our other hand on top to anchor this down. This work we're going to do is for the left arm in this case, and I'm pulling back here, so I'm dislocating my wrist. I'm elongating it, tractioning it, and I'm just moving my elbow here. So we're opening that wrist compartment and giving a lot of space to that and letting that move. So we've done this stretch, we've moved our wrist around and heated it up. Now we're dislocating that compartment, getting a nice traction stretch. That's 3. Number 4 is we will work in here. These are my pain balls, as Kelly Starrett calls them. I'm a big fan of his. These are 2 lacrosse balls that are taped together. And what I'll do is I'll work in here, and these muscles you'll find usually on the right arm. Most of us are right arm dominant. The right arm here is going to be really tight, and when I press in here, we'll just have little nickels, I call them, little rivets in here, and people will sing. Don't make your gas face, make your happy face, because these muscles have been calling for your attention for a long time, and your wrist is sending off all the check engine light signals, so you finally found the problem. Don't be sad about it, be happy you found it, and you get in here and you dig them out. And I will do it manually with my hand, but you can also use your pain balls, and you get in there and you just grind out these old knots and scar tissue that you have been building up in you for your entire life. So now it's time to address it. And our 5th thing, I'm a big anti-cell phone diddler. So everybody likes to diddle their cell phone at the red light, and we don't like to do that. Use that time sitting in the traffic jam, not to be stressed out, but to save your wrists. What a better way to utilize your time. So you get your rubber band, and remember, we're like this all the time, and we're squeezing, and we're tightening, and we're grabbing things and mousing and diddling our cell phones. So here's what we do. We do the opposite of that. We get ourselves a rubber band, one that you can handle. It could be a skinny one or not. I love this idea for on the arm, for the on the shifter of the car. You leave that in there, and we just work this guy out. We're extending, and we're working on our wrist extensors in here. So that's 5 ways that you can save your wrist every day instead of complaining about it. The chiropractor, they're trained to check the neck, find misalignment in there. A lot of my chiropractic buddies are awesome at assessing the, very often it's the lunate bone, sometimes the scaphoid that is blocked up in there, pressing on these nerves and contributing to that. This is an easy fix. I've had people who were scheduled for surgeries, and we worked in this, and we actually did some rehab and fixed their junk and straightened out their problem, and they've had phenomenal results and no surgery. So this is Doc D signing off. These are 5 ways you can save your wrist. Get working on it today. This is your stuff. Go handle it. Doc D here. Peace out. HealthJawn.com. See you later.